Hi, I'm Mike, and this is an intro. So what you got here, and what you probably guessed from the title, is that this is a Narset EDH deck. There are two ways to build her, really. You either go without any creatures, and just abuse some of the different cards in there that can really ramp up and let you just choose how you want to play your deck, or you go with creatures that help take advantage of the extra turns. There's a few really nasty ones in there, but for the most part, I'm not actually going to focus on either of those. I'm going to show you a quick, easy budget deck with a few cards I cheated in because I just happen to own them. So hope you'll forgive me that one. So let's get started. First up, this card is amazing. Steel of the Godhead. Gives you unblockable and lifelink. The lifelink's okay, but in a Narset deck, the unblockable function, that's a win all the way around, and it gives her better defense or toughness, so you don't have to worry about her being board wiped by some of the red spells. Brainstorm. If you don't know the card, find a copy, buy it, put it in your deck, and you'll be happy when you figure out what it does. Not only does it let you draw 3, but it lets you put 2 cards back, which fixes anything that might be stuck in your hand. For Narset, that's perfect. Card's trying to escape. Empty the Warrants. I will admit, I kind of feel like an ass playing this card sometimes because of Storm. The ability to put copies out is kind of scary, but with Narset, it actually works pretty well because you can at least get a few copies, and if things go crazy, well, it'll end the game quickly, so at least people won't be complaining for long. Counter the spell or redirect, so it's protection for Narset, and if you have something you want to play again, you fix that up right away. Oh, man, Reckless Assault. Get an extra attack phase. With Narset, perfect. Also, this is a budget card. It's not that expensive, maybe $2–3. I have no idea why it's so cheap, but it is, and it's amazing. In the regular deck, you could probably change the game. Heck, in most decks, it could probably change the game. Just an extra attack step would really fix a lot of problems. Signet, for obvious reasons. Preordain. Sorry, I can't speak today, apparently. Preordain. Kind of like Brainstorm, except less of putting things back from your hand. Still useful, though, to fix up what you want. Just board control, and if you need it, a quick way to get rid of one of your tokens you create, if you go that route. Because obvious reasons, Hinder. Get rid of General, or just counter a good spell. Again, haste, 0 equip, gotta love it. Dual lands. Well, not quite a dual land, but the 2 colors helps fix up the mana base, and that can be very, very helpful. Especially in a deck that doesn't run green to do it for you. Same with this, except it's 1 card for 2 colors, and you get both. Always good. Love the series there. It worked well. Same as before. Same as before, except just 1 color. Now this is a little more of an expensive card, so not quite budget. But it keeps going into your deck, so if you do it with Narset, it won't go to the graveyard, just keep replaying it. So theoretically, if you get rid of every card in your deck and keep attacking with her, you will always get an extra turn. Oh wow, that's a combo right there. Land. This. It's best if you cast it with Narset, because even though it won't affect you this turn, it is almost a guarantee that you will have the win condition the next time she attacks, because you will have all the spells you need to search out what you want. Just a great way to wipe the board. Sure, if they have blue people out, they'll stick around, but blue generals aren't as common as some of the red or black ones, or even green, so you're pretty much set. Granted, if you're facing another Narset deck, I wouldn't recommend it. I kind of cheated this one just because I already owned a copy. It's a miracle. It gets you an extra turn. It's just there, and it's very good for Narset. Signet, gotta love him. This card, the Proteus Staff, it's pay 3, get it down. Pay 3, I can't seem to focus on it. And you can basically take one of your tokens, shuffle it in, and since there's no other creatures in your deck, you can basically arrange your deck however you want to get the perfect effect out of Narset. If you get this to go off and you don't win the game, it's because for some reason you didn't want to. It lets you do whatever you want, and it will always work perfectly. The only problem is you have a 6 mana investment, so it's probably not an early game win unless you have massive mana ramp in your deck, which would be easier if you were running green, but then you wouldn't be running Narset. Again, another Storm card, so I feel like an ass playing it, but for what it does, it has the potential to completely change the game. There's no certainty in it, but you might just get a bunch of lands. But if you hit the right cards with this, it's very hard not to win. Just good in land fix. Another card that I honestly do not understand why it's not more expensive. For 4 mana, you get an extra attack phase, and then a flashback for 3 of the exact same thing. So for a 7 mana investment, you get 2 extra attack phases. Or, for 4 then 3, you get 2 extra attack phases on 2 turns. This is a win condition, and it's only a $3 card. Maybe less if you go to a different place. How it is only that cheap, I have no idea. I'm completely glad for it, though. It's a great budget card, and with Narset, it can win on its own. Mana fix, gotta love it. Mana... Good dual land? Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. Land. Land. Wow, it's like I'm getting a land clump. This card. It's cheap, it's easy, it's budget, and it keeps Narset alive because you attack, you get her ability, and then she's not attacking anymore and you untap her. It's just perfect, and it's a 1 mana drop. That is probably like maybe a 50-cent card, if that. Why it's not in more white decks? I'm not complaining. It lets me take advantage of it when more people don't know. Twin Cast. The perfect card to make sure you get more spells you like. And with Narset, there's no mana investment. Just good to search out if you have a Fabricate. Again, it's kind of like, well, it is a banner. It's similar to what they did back in Alara, and, well, you can't really zoom in, can't do that. But it fixes the colors up, and if you do it right, you can draw a card. Granted, you probably won't need to, but it's always nice to have that ability. Land. You might see I have a bit of a bias towards Ravnica lands. I'm guilty. Land. Howl of the Horde. This card is completely underrated, which I'm okay with because it lets me take advantage of it. For 3, you get a double of the spell. It's a sorcery speed, so not perfect. But the raid function lets you double it twice. Considering some of the spells in here, that can be very scary because it will come out pretty often with Narset. And 3 isn't a high mana investment, so even if you don't get it with her, you can easily cast it after she attacks and just completely dominate with whatever you got from her. Mana fix. Mana fix. I already have that. I have to double check. Land. Land. Again, another artifact land. Great to find with Fabricate if you're mana screwed. Search land. Sorta. This thing is amazing. Normally, the Lantern is a little better because it lets you fix all your lands. But this one, because it lets you put the token counter onto it, and then tap it, gets you 2 mana if you invest well. For 3, in the next turn, that can be a very easy way to get Narset out very fast. Very much worthwhile. Again, artifact land, gotta love them. Land. Time Reversal. This is actually a card that I think is quite good in the right situation. It fills up your hand and lets you get your graveyard back in. So if someone for some reason is trying to mill you, or you pull out a combo but you don't want to take the next turn without killing yourself, this is the card you need. And if nothing else, it can get rid of a lot of graveyards the opponents control, which is also very useful in Commander. Lands. Fervor. It gives your creatures haste. If you don't know that already, now you do. Desperate Ritual. With Narset out, it gives you the mana. But it's actually a combo piece that I'll set to the side. Again, creature control and a good way to get rid of a general. Puts them on the bottom of the deck. Gotta love it how they stay there. This card is actually kind of interesting. It puts out a few token soldiers. Or core soldiers specifically. And you can't pay the kicker with Narset. But, well actually you can, but the interesting part about it is it can be used to help with the Proteus staff. Sure, a 5 investment for that alone is a little steep, But it's worthwhile because, like I said, if you get that to go off, you're going to win. There's really no doubt. Chaos Warp. Okay, this is not a budget card. I just happen to have this, so I'm cheating a little by putting it in. But if you have a copy, use it. With Narset, it's perfect. It gets rid of opponents. And even though it might give them something good, chances are they'll just hit a land or something random in their deck that's there because there's more of it. Sol Ring. It's about a $5 card because it's from the Commander sets. Not quite budget, but not quite going to break the bank either. If you have it, use it. If you don't fret. Fabricate. Search for an artifact. Put it into your hand. So useful. So very useful. It can fix your mana base. It can get artifacts to give more mana. It can get the Sword of Feast and Famine, which is coming up, and I'll explain more later then. Reiterate. It's a good copy spell, but the buyback cost alone makes it completely broken, because if you have 6 mana, you can just copy all the spells you want. Now you have to have 6 mana, and with Narset, that's not always a guarantee, but the option is worthwhile. Ponder. It's scry and draw cards, so make sure you get what you want. Lotus Petal, also part of the combo. I'll go more later. Dream Cache. It's exactly the same effect as Brainstorm, but it's a 3-drop. But because it lets you put 2 cards back, with Narset, that could be very useful, so it's worth having. Land. Land. A lot of land. Who'd thought? Land. Hall of the Bandit Lord. Pay 3 life, add 1 colorless mana. Not really that good until you see that it gives creature spells cast with that mana haste. Narset, haste. Narset, haste. It's a very, very good deal. Karn. Cheating her out with Narset, or him out with Narset, is just kind of funny. It lets you control the field to an extent, get rid of things in the opponent's hands, and if you do it right, you can start the game. To be fair, though, with Narset, you really shouldn't ever wait long enough to restart the game with him. Just the exile function alone is perfect. Also, Karn is not a bargain card. I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of that, but I happen to spend too much money on him, and so I'm going to put him in the deck anyways. Not bargain, but if you have him, good. If you don't fret. He's not that great. Okay, he is, but he won't kill you. Dissipate. Bargain card that you gotta love. It exiles spells you don't like, and it counters them for 3 cost. Not bad. Spectra Ward. It's a little expensive mana-wise, and it costs a few dollars, but considering it gives Narset, if equipped, or in this case, enchanted, protection from all colors and a defense boost, it's perfect for what she does. Plus, it won't get rid of auras attached to her, so you can enchant her more and still have protection from all colors, so she just can walk right through your enemy's lines. Gives you any color you want, and it's indestructible for a 3-drop. Perfect to keep up if someone's board wiping. Land. World at War. Another card that is so amazing, but it's still a bargain card. For 5, you get an extra attack phase, and it rebounds, so you get it next turn too. Now, it's specifically only at the first post-combat main phase, so you can't use multiple turns on it. Or more specifically, you can't go, like, maybe 3 turns in, then cast it. And by turns, I mean attack turns, phases, you know what I mean? But it's working really well, and it rebounds, so you'll get it again after you use it, which makes it quite useful. Merchant Scroll. Part of a combo, but not one I'm going to put to the side. Essentially says, find the card you want that's a blue instant, put it into your hand. That right there is just too good to miss. If you have it, use it. It's also a really cheap card, so you should be able to get it pretty easily. Long-term plans. With Narset, this is literally choose the card you want to get free with her. And then you get it. And for a 3-drop instant, it can be used before your turn, so you know what you're going to get, along with anything else. It's just a great card, and it's a bargain card. Land. Leyline of Anticipation. If it's in your opening hand, you know what it does. It gives all your cards flash, and it starts on the field. If you have to cast it, great. And with Narset, also great. it's not a perfect card, but the ability to give yourself flash, to cast anything you want whenever you want, with a deck like Narset, gives you so many options. Gives her an uncounterable ability. You can cast her without worrying, and fixes the mana. Gotta love that card. Comet Storm. This is part of the combo as well. Porphyros gives you the ability to sack land, but really you're there for the haste. Lantern gives you color fix. Sword of Feast and Famine. It lets you untap your lands and gives her protection from green and black plus +2/+2. Very good card, but also part of a combo, but a separate one. Haunting, or Midnight Haunting. 2/1/1 white spirits. They fly, and it's an instant speed. Useful, and gives you time for the Proteus staff to eat up. Land fix. This is surprisingly not as expensive as you would think. It was maybe a $5 or $6 card when I got. Now, not too cheap, but if you're not trying to look the bank or break the bank, worthwhile. You can win a game with this easily because you will get the card you want. It'll be perfect for Narset. It's the perfect card for her. If you can buy it, good. But if you don't, find a copy. They're not as expensive as you would think. That might change, though. This card is amazing, but I'll put it to the side so you know why. Generator Servant. I know I'm trying to go creatureless here, but he's so perfect. I'll take him out, but right now I just can't stand to do it yet. Sack, get 2 colorless mana, and gives whatever creature spent on it haste. Narset, haste. Narset, haste. I'm pretty sure you get by now that that's an amazing ability for her to have. Stone Monolith, or Basalt Monolith, sorry. Pay 3, get 3. Sure, you can't get it again unless you pay 3 more into it, and it kind of slows you down, but for Narset to get out on turn 4, it's worth it. Aggravated Assault, the other part of the combo. I'll put it over here. Essentially, this combo right here is you equip Narset, and then you just keep attacking and attacking and attacking. She'll untap your mana every time she hits, and then you pay that mana in to get another attack step. It usually wins the game, unless something weird is going on. But, you know, worthwhile. Good combo. Again, Spell Crumple. This card... Sorry, my legs. Spell Crumple, gotta love it. Okay, if anyone can see it, my legs are now numb for how I'm sitting. So if I fall over, yeah, lost control of my legs. Sudden Disappearance, an underrated card that's actually not that expensive. When you cast it, you exile all non-land permanents target player controls. It only lasts a single turn, but for Narset, with all the attack phases, that is beyond perfect. And it'll just let you completely wail on someone without any fear. Stormherd. Life equals tokens, specifically Flying Pegasi tokens. A little too expensive to cast normally, but with Narset, the possibility of having maybe 40 to 30 tokens out early game, that's a game breaker, and usually a win condition. Rewind. Untaps your lands and counters the spell. Mana Fix. Good card, though. Enter the Infinite. I'm pretty sure anyone can figure this one out. Get it with Narset, get your deck -1 card. And if you can't win off that, again, it's because you're looking not to win for some reason. Omniscience. Okay, to go along with the card previous, they're not bargain cards. They're actually much more expensive than when I bought them, so I'm kind of cheating them in. But together, it's like get your deck, cast your deck. It's actually part of this combo over here. I'll go into that later. Land. Crystal Ball. Lets you scry 2 for 1, 3-drop. It's good just to make sure you get what you want with Narset. Land Fix. Land Fix. But the Monastery, gotta love it. I loved how they printed this setup. It's 1 land that gives you all the colors you need. Gives you pro creature and a little more toughness. And it's a 2-drop, so even if you don't get it with Narset, you can cast it on her before she attacks, which is probably better. This card, it's actually a bargain card. Split Second means it can't be countered because there's no stack after it. And it just lets you steal a card, no problems, or specifically creature. Now, it's a little expensive for a 7-drop, but if it's cast free with Narset, it's completely worthwhile. Last word. Specifically, it's a counterspell that cannot be countered. Great for Narset to cast free whenever someone tries to dick you over. Or held in your hand just to screw someone over when they just can't do anything. Eye of Ramos. I'm actually looking for the other few of these that will fit in the deck. It's a 3-drop that can give you 2 mana abilities. Sure, it only taps for 1, and then you have to sack it for another. But in a pinch, that's 2 extra mana. It's worthwhile. Rite of Flame, or Writ of Flame. I can never say that right. Pay 1, get 2. It's part of this combo over here. Now, normally this combo has one more card to it, but I actually don't know where I put it at the moment. I'll find it later. What you end up doing is getting... First, you get your entire hand into... Or your hand becomes your deck. Reverse that. Your deck becomes your hand with Enter the Infinite. You drop this for 1 red. You drop this for 2. You drop this for 3. And somewhere in here I have the Mox Monkey. Oh, I took it out, that's why. Chances are you'll need 1 land floating, but once you do that, Inner Fire will give you all the mana in your hand, and either you can just pay it in and get hopefully a massive amount of mana and kill everyone with this, or you drop in the Gilded Lotus, get 3 blue, pay the rest of the 7 into this, Omniscience, you can play your deck. Again, that'll enable this combo, or you just win. Alright. That's my Narset deck. It's bargain, minus a few cards that I cheated about. But for the most part, a lot of the really good cards here, they're not that expensive, especially ones that enable her to take extra attack steps. So if you find them, pick them up. They're not that expensive, and they have an absurd effect on the battlefield the second you cast them. So this is Mike signing off. This is an outro.